probably will have us come to standing or seated together. But for now, just to begin to drop into this time together, to this beautiful hour that we are devoting to some kindness toward the mind and body system, right? So this is a little bit of almost an invocation, where we're saying, oh yeah, I'm starting now. And then I can already in this body begin to see what the difference is from how I was a minute ago to what I call my practice, right? So, like a frog jumping onto a lily pad, like, oh, what is this thing that I call my practice? How is it different from my everyday life? Just dropping into, oh, what does it feel like when I say I'm going to practice? Is there a gentleness that comes in, or is there a little rigidity? Like when I say I'm going to practice, do I sit up straight suddenly? Not that that would be necessarily rigidity, but what happens when I say, what happens? Do I suddenly pay attention a little bit? Well, let's do that, right? Let's just pay a little bit of attention to the spine, to what you know as your spine from top to bottom. Just lightly tuning in. And if I have the tendency to be a little strong with my effort, maybe stronger than is needed, it might be helped, tempered by some easy compassion, right? Some gentle touch. Anywhere on the body, right, that might feel like some comfort, and a way of the hands saying to the body, rest of the body, you can rest. Wherever there's rest available, let me rest. Right? And of course, a bit of safety is needed. I have to feel a bit safe in some way in order to relax. So that hand on the belly, and maybe even a little encouragement to soften for the breath, to just soften to receive the breathing. And the breath can be big or small. And we will move in ways that will ease the breath, make more space for breathing. So checking in to see where there might be some tightness, not to try to get rid of it, but to bring some compassion and awareness to this experience, right, of tightness or hotness, pain perhaps, or discomfort. And then perhaps some more neutral sensations are present as well. A little pressure or a slight tickling. And maybe even there are some pleasant sensations. And just having that sense of the whole spine, right? That which I am responsible for taking care of. Good. And so we'll begin some moving as a way of really making space around the heart, making space for the breath. So we'll be squeezing and releasing just the way you just really the way you do with Delia, whether you call it yoga or Tai Chi, whatever you call it. Let's come to standing if you can, if that works for you. Yeah, and let's just sense into the knees and the feet. Maybe a little kind of gliding or shifting back and forth, just very fluid. Sensing into, just bending the knees, a little swaying. Just very easy. Good, and then let's come into a little bit of stillness with our feet holding the floor, holding the ground. And spreading the toes a little bit and letting the feet spread out as they can't do in shoes, right? If you're wearing shoes and you can take them off, why not let the feet spread out because they get kind of squished in shoes, right? And then let's just let our arms rest for a moment and feel the sensation of the arms at rest. Getting a sense of the fingertips. We're getting a sense of what can create stability for me in standing, a kind of evenness and stability. Like a standing rock. And then with an in-breath, let's just float the arms forward. We'll bend the elbows. And with the out-breath, we'll just let them float back down. Yeah, with your in-breath floating up. With your out-breath floating down. Just aware directly with sensation, moving with the breath. You can start to bend the knees as the arms come down. Inhaling, the arms can come higher. We might even look up a little bit. And exhale. And of course, this could be done in seated as well, but let's feel how the front of the body is opening, right? Really gently, the front of the body can soften. And then exhale, the front of the body contracts. Your chin can come in toward your chest a little bit. So with an in-breath, and if your arms, if your shoulders are sore, then you'll do maybe less with your arms. Right? The range of movement is up to you. You'll see it can be very powerful just to shrink the movement into maybe just a smaller version and try that a few times. Just go at your own pace in this opening without any strain. And we could call it closing or folding. And then we might want to use what we call a mudra, right? Where we bring the hands, they could come like this, right? One on top of the other. Or they could come into what we know as prayer position. Right? Bringing the right and left sides of the body together. But you can experiment a little bit with the expression through the arms and hands. You might want to come to exhale, hands over the eyes, so that you go from darkness to light. Good, and then let's stay for a moment in the up position, but let's make it an up position that is really sustainable. So the arms could be up. And how about on the exhale, you just let your chin come down, leaving the arms up. And on in-breath, the face can float up, making sure the neck feels well supported. Exhale, the chin comes down. Let's do that one more time. And you could bend the knees for the looking up. And now stay with the knees bent. Yeah, and so you're in a little chair pose, right? Knees bent, heels and toes on the floor. Now let's see what it's like to bring the arms out wide and then take a little turn. So either way, turning toward your side wall there and bringing your hands to your heart. Try that again, opening your arms forward, looking forward, and now go the other way. Just prayer position toward the other wall. Beautiful. And now a little resting, standing mountain pose, just stillness. And some deep breaths. Feeling into the toes, maybe lifting a heel and then the other to feel, to experience the sensation, right, of toes. I know you can't see my feet, but I'm just lifting one heel at a time, accommodating that, right, through balance. Yeah, so one heel goes up, I find my arms kind of draw down to help that balance. Those little discoveries are kind of fun, right? Seeing what the body does to accommodate in order to balance, right? Let's take the arms wide again. Let's just take them out to the sides. And now this time, as you exhale, just bend the knees and fold forward a little bit, and let's bring the hands to the heart. So it's a slight forward bend, like a little bow, and I have my knees quite bent. And then inhale, I'll lift from the heart and open the arms. You could do this seated as well, but you can feel how in standing, you're really balancing and strengthening. You can feel the core of the body perhaps, right? Low in the spine, curling, engaging. Good. And let the soft in-breath float the heart up again. One more time. Just folding the heart forward, hands at the heart, and just stay for a moment, for a few breaths. Good, very nice. And then come gently up to standing again. So these standing poses are so powerful. Can you feel from big toe to heel? Just that length from your big toe all the way to the heel. Just lightly tuning in. Good. Let's step a little wider if we can. Let's go into a wider stance so that we can feed the hips a little bit. Yeah, so you can give a little gentle tapping on the hips and around the lower back. You could just rub a little. We're going to turn one toe out and bend that same knee so that we can feel the hips turn out and at the same time engage in this real strengthening. So we want to be aware of the lower back, right? And keep it, the lower spine draped toward the ground, right? Drawing gently toward the ground. So let's turn our left toes outward, right? And then just widen the stance a little bit. So it's a left knee bent and a right leg long. And the left toes are accommodating that left knee. well, right? So the heel is under the knee, the hips are even, and it's this really strong stance for the hips, right? Let's just stay for a few breaths. So we can open our arms a little bit with an in-breath. And you could do this seated too, like perched on the edge of the chair. For a little extra support, exhale, bring the hands together. Let's do that again. In breath. So you see how this is all about the breath in. At your own pace. One more time. Right, your in breath. You could take your arms all the way out, but they don't have to be. Good. And before you come back, just turn and look toward your bent knee, toward your left hand. And then slowly bring your feet closer together and stand again, absorbing energy up from the ground, and just drinking in those cool inhales, letting go of the warm out breaths. So this is a beautiful way to gather energy up through the legs, right? This warrior two, it's called in yoga, right? Let's go wide again, and we'll turn the right toes outward this time. So first, just finding this wide stance, making sure the toes and heels are well supporting, right? The knees are a little bent. And the tailbone is kind of hanging toward the ground. Good. Let's take the right toes outward. And we'll create a wide stance that allows the right heel to support under the right knee. And to feel this strength in the nice even hips. So you can feel the bent leg working, the long leg working. Let's allow a few breaths here. An in breath. Yep, and an out breath at your own pace. Right, just 3 of your easy breaths, calm, easy breaths. Right, you're practicing being calm in the face of a certain kind of stress, but in this case, if I'm not hurting myself, I'm building a bit of strength and stability, right? So staying for a moment, and before you come out, maybe looking toward that right hand, and then slowly, slowly inching your feet a little closer together so you can just rest in mountain pose. Again, your tailbone toward the ground. Just stillness for some breaths. Some folks use a mantra, right? A little mantra, like a little prayer to engage the mind. A word. Good. Before we sit down, let's go up on the tiptoes. So just letting your eyes gently gaze so they aren't moving around, so your eyes aren't moving around. Right? Let your heels come up, and you can let the arms float forward too. And then exhale, come back down. Let's try it again. We'll see if we can let the heels and the arms come down at the same time. Let's try it again. Maybe stay for a few breaths on this last one. Maybe try coming halfway down. All the way up again. And halfway down. And then all the way down. I don't find it easy, right? So let's come gently, gently to seated. Maybe stand another breath for a few more breaths though, just to take in that, right? Because the effects of each of these movements are quite interesting to see. They can create quite the effect, right? Just sensing into the breathing, into the mind states as well, right? So I thought I would read us, as we come to seated, I'm going to read us a little something from a book that I love. It's a book that you might know. Yeah, so finding yourself a seat. We'll continue with the movement practice from seated. So if you need a cushion, I do like having a seat without arms, but you might like a seat with arms. Yeah, so working with the mind, right? A little bit of just some thoughts about working with the thinking mind. You know, because in this movement practice, we're linking to the breath and sensation, but you know, some days I don't find it hard to let my thoughts be sort of over there, but some days thoughts can be quite, for me, quite invasive or quite active, and so just a little bit of thoughts about thoughts. I just realized I'm not going to use the book. Yeah, let's sit. We'll do this without the book. So just again, rooting into the breath, you know, rooting into the base, the sensation, right, of the base of the body, right? Because really, I can't root into the breath. The breath is a concept we made a word for, right? But what I can be aware of, what awareness can connect with, are all through the sense doors. So let's come into awareness of sensation. This is my contact with reality, through the sense doors. My contact with the present. Reality might be another thing, but my contact with this present moment through the sense doors. Good. Now take the right ankle and see if it might come up to rest on the left leg. And this could be done with the left foot flat, or you might inch the foot further forward so the ankle could be on the shin. But if it can, come on up and you can cradle it a bit. We're just gonna maybe fold forward, or maybe this is enough, right? Maybe this sensation in the hip is plenty. And sensing the sits bones, right? Those bony bottoms of the hip bones. See if you can stabilize right on the bones, the base. So you really feel the connection through the seat. We're going to just rest the head and neck, resting the body forward, and you know, stabilizing with the arms, letting the arms play a part in the stability and ease of this little forward fold. And you might want to have the eyes open for this. And again, through the sense doors, now there can be some seeing as well. Sensation, awareness of sensation, awareness of seeing. So this is just a gentle gaze, awareness of sensation, the sensations of the moving breath. And then this knowing, which is what I was going to draw from the book, but this knowing, the real teaching is that this knowing that all thoughts are emanating, right, around past experiences or future projections, right? We know this. There's planning, mind, there's memory, there's all this projection. And what we know about it is that none of it's here. None of it's right here in this body, through this body, through these senses. And here is where I cultivate love. Here is where I cultivate kindness. Right here, right, is where I cultivate generosity. And commitment. Right? Commitment to this present moment. Right? Is there a stability of seeing, awareness of seeing? Stability, awareness of sensation. Can I root in this? Can I find my creativity? Let it flow with this commitment to being just so gently, lovingly present here for this. Yeah, so we can come up and let's switch legs. So this is just a little cross-legged forward bend. And you can modify this in so many ways, right? But we're just wanting to sense the hips, to sense the stability. And then to draw the heart just a little forward, or maybe it's enough just to rest with that ankle on top and softening the face. Softening everywhere I can. Resting with sensation. Awareness of sensation. Generously present, compassionately present and aware. And coming slowly up. So there's so many versions, right, of these forward folds. And they kind of are the antidote to lots of stimulation, right? So if our days are very stimulating, and we can do them in different ways, and even lifting a leg is a bit of a forward fold. So let's do this. So just edging to the front of your seat a bit so that you'll be able to lift your knee, one knee. Right? And so you might be holding on, or your arms could be at rest somewhere. And let's just take the right knee off, the right foot off the floor, and we'll let the right knee float up. Just feeling the thigh engaging in the hip. And then exhale, we'll put it down. Let's try the other side. Just left knee up. Good, and left knee down. Now let's take a little bit of a circle with this knee. So let's take the right knee up and try a little circling. One way and then the other. Try it again, circling one way. And the other way. Good, and then put that foot down, maybe a little stroking of the leg. Let's try the other side. A little circling. Okay, so we'll float the knee up and sensing awareness of sensation. Going in one direction and then going the other way. Good, and then just pausing. I think maybe we did more on the other side. If that's true, we'll do another round of each. So, right, so knowing that thoughts can tend to drift past and future is a certain kind of release, right? If I know that thoughts tend to do this, for me, it makes me want to watch out for my thoughts a little bit more. So just play with that, right? If for you, oh yeah, if I'm going to ruminate or reflect, and it's keeping me from being sort of in the body present, vitally present, maybe I won't do that so much. Not that you shouldn't, it's just that don't I kind of want as much energy here in this body as I can get, right? So that's the experiment for me. Maybe I'll feel less tired if I spend less time in this and more time, right, in this, right, in this full experience. So let's continue a bit. So now with our feet on the ground, let's open our arms out wide, palms facing up. Just feeling the hands open toward the sky. And seeing what sensation is like here. And then with an exhale, we're just going to touch the tops of the shoulders. Or thereabouts, right? In breath, we'll open the hands. And out breath, coming in. In breath, at your own pace, of course. And maybe you're feeling some little pauses after the breath or in between the in and the out breath. Those can be, right, really beautiful, restful experiences. Good. Good. And resting the arms. And pausing again. We're going to do a bit of a breathing exercise. And this breathing, I'll just tell you, it's to help the energy or vital energy flow through the whole body, but it's especially helpful in the head and the neck. So if you can, and you could cover your right nostril. And if you can, with your mouth closed, just breathe really gently through your left nostril. Very quiet, thread-like breaths. And just extend those breaths, let them relax. And then let that right hand come down. Let's try the other side. So take your left, covering your left nostril with one finger. Beautiful. When you're ready, letting that left hand rest. And let's come back up really gently to standing again. Good. So let's do a little walking here in place. So as we find our stability and shifting to the left foot, let's let the right arm and the right leg lift. So the right knee, the right hand, and then coming down. And we're going to alternate. Ready? So we'll go left side up and down. You can bend the knees. Right side up and down. The left side up at your own pace. One or two more. And just standing. Awareness of sensation. Awareness of hearing, seeing, taste and smell. Awareness of thoughts, awareness of thinking, the thinking mind. And here in the present, cultivating love and compassion, gentleness, calm. Giving this gift to the nervous system, right? Let's inhale our arms up and turn toward the left. And softening our knees, we'll sweep our arms down and coming forward again, arms up. So we'll soften the knees as we turn to the right, inhaling and exhaling, sweeping the arms down. As we turn forward, we bring them up with an in-breath. Turning, right, bending the knees, the arms sweep down as we come forward again. Just making this your own. Finding that fluidity, pausing wherever you need to. I learned this one from Delia, and it's my new favorite. It's such a beautiful standing twist, and as long as we soften the knees, we can keep our knees safe. We can sense all the way from toes through the spine, all the way to the crown of the head. And here, you might want to draw your chin in for a moment, just to give the throat a squeeze before you turn. Take a few more rounds of this beautiful kind of figure eight somehow. You can feel the rib cage moving, or whatever you feel. And then when you're ready to come to standing rest again. Beautiful. Now, I think it would be lovely for us to finish on the ground. So if you can, if your room allows you to come down to the ground, I think I can adjust this and we can lay all the way down on the ground and even put your belly right on the ground. Right, so you're going to go all the way down if you can. And so you'd want to take your glasses off and you'd want to put them aside. And then all the way down on the belly, if you can, with your arms overhead in prayer position. And here's where we're going to just soak up nourishment into the front of the body, into the nervous system, to help the nervous system to calm, to be at ease. So we'll put the forehead on the ground, and you might be able to see I've got one foot kind of overlapped on the other one. So I'm kind of creating this full closed kind of system of absorbing energy right from hands to feet. So let's put the forehead down if we can. And just showering yourself with peace and ease, right? Om Shanti in Sanskrit. Shanti, Shanti, this sense of peace that we can bring within to myself first. From fingers, right, to wrists, to forearms, and elbows, heart, shoulders, and upper arms, breasts, chest, ribs and solar plexus, belly, digestive system, reproductive system, intestines, colon, pelvis, the whole lower body, buttocks, right? Sexual organs, thighs and knees, shins, ankles, feet, all the toes, the bones of the body, the skull, the skull resting on the spine. The more we know about all the parts, the more we're clear it all works as one, it all works together. And we all work together, right? The planet and us, all of us, that oneness. Take a couple minutes right here, just with your breath. Good, so deepening the breathing. From fingers to toes. Yeah, and separating the feet a little bit, and let's ease up onto the forearms. So really slowly, just coming up to this little back bend, you might separate the legs a bit and leaning on the elbows and the forearms, just bow the head forward. So the chin is toward the throat and the top of the head is facing or extending forward. Just sensing the stability here. Right, so you have this strength of position, right? The shoulders, chest. And with an inhale, just turning your nose to the right. And with an exhale, just turning your nose back toward the ground. Let's take that again, just turning the nose to the right with the in-breath. Nice and easy. Out breath, coming back. Nose to the right. And coming back. One more time. Nose to the right. Good, and coming back. Now let's go 3 times nose to the left. So inhale, nose to the left. Nice and easy. Exhaling, nose back toward the floor. Nose to the left. Exhale, nose toward the floor. One more time. Nose to the left and stay. And coming back. Good. Now take a rest. Let your arms come to your sides. Let your face turn to one side. Good. And then go ahead, and roll over to your back. So we're going to finish our session with our legs up in a moment. Let me just do a little time check. Yeah, it's probably time. So if you can, if you have somewhere that, like a chair nearby that you can put your legs on, that's kind of ideal for now. But if you don't, you could just go knees to the chest for a little bit. And in a moment, we're going to do some just guided relaxation here on the back. So this will be a period for any movement that you'd like, that your body calls for. And if you want to follow me, I'm going to just guide us through another little movement for the core of the body and the lower back. So with your in-breath, floating your right foot up toward the ceiling, and your right arm all the way, maybe all the way overhead. And with your out breath, bending the knee, bring the hand back to rest on the knee. Just like that, just a few times like that, just really kind of showering the leg, the spine, the whole right side. You can let the right leg stay up for a few breaths. Good, and you might want to float your right arm straight up for a moment. And then switch sides. So we'll float the left foot up and the left arm overhead. And then bend the knee. Yeah, inhaling to extend. Exhaling to bend. Again, at your own pace. Good, and let's try a few with both arms and both legs. Right, inhaling. And exhaling. So you can go a lot faster, a lot slower. maybe one or two more. Good. And then, like I said, you'll spend a moment, spend as long as you'd like here. If you'd like to spend a little more time with your legs up or holding on to the feet, feel free to make the practice your own, because you might have more time to spare. You could do wide and together. You could do so much here on the back. But because our time's running out, let's come into ultimately some kind of rest here on the back, either with your legs up. They could be leaning on the wall or on a chair. And let's let the upper body relax. And again, center our awareness with the breathing. So we'll take about 3 minutes of real stillness here, or movement if you're still moving. Oh, my bunny rabbit has come to say hi. And we'll dip into this well of stillness together. Let's take a few breaths that will help us to settle. So let's take a long in-breath. And an equal length out breath. And then resume natural breathing. And another slow, long in-breath. Equal length out breath. And back to natural breathing. And one more time. Slow, long in-breath. Equal length out breath. And back to natural breathing. And see if you can let yourself relax for a few more minutes. Just a few more. Awake and relaxed. Good. And then, when you feel like it's time to come up, you can come up. I'll close the practice here so you can finish in the way that feels appropriate, but it's nice to not rush the close of the practice too. So sink into that nice deep rest for a bit. If you have time and your body feels called to more movement, you could always do some twisting. Or maybe it's time for another project or something or a phone call, but let's see if we can carry this stillness with us, right? This spaciousness and this ease that you created in this time. Just pour it into our next activities, remembering to return, right? Remembering these practices, right? So vital, even a few minutes. Another little pause this afternoon or before bed, or that 12:30 Cupper Beach meditation session. Yeah, so thanks everyone. Just resting into your heart for a moment, bowing that thinking mind to the heart, right? Sensing into your own deep wisdom, right? Deep caring, deep concern, your own generosity, compassion, and kindness. Thanks.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Karen.
Yeah. Thank you, Karen.
See you
It was
next week,
wonderful.
everybody.
Thank you.
Stay cool. Thank you. Thanks, Diana. Thanks, Sandy, for your help.
You're welcome.
Have a wonderful day.
You too.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you.